Hello everyone. So today I am here with a revision video on the topic coordinate geometry. So it's part of our upper primary maths curriculum, Cambridge. So this topic is related to more or less means I'll try to cover each and every point in this topic. And this topic is basically useful for all the three mathematics core, means international maths and extended maths and even the further O-level mathematics. So as our topic is coordinate geometry, and I have tried to link the topic coordinate geometry and equations of line, that is straight lines, and linear inequalities, graphing linear inequalities and shading the region. So basically I will be dividing this topic into three portions. In first portion we'll be discussing about coordinate geometry and gradient of a line, slope and all. Second part will be focusing on straight lines, equation of straight lines and graphing straight lines on Cartesian plane. And the third portion of this video will be covering up on inequalities, linear inequalities and graphing inequalities on graph. Okay, so let's start with the topic. In this topic we'll focus on certain points, and if you can see, plotting the points and reading from the graph in the Cartesian plane. This is one objective. Second is distance between 2 points. Third is midpoint of a line segment. Then gradient of a line segment, gradient of parallel and perpendicular lines, equation of a straight line, which would be part of our second video, and linear inequalities. It's not for the core curriculum, it's for extended curriculum. And then symmetry of the graphs, means basically the equation of line of symmetry. Okay, so let's start the video. First we understand about the number plane. So what is number plane? So basically the position of any point in a number plane can be specified with the ordered pair, and we generally write down this ordered pair in the form of x comma y, where your x represents your horizontal step and your y represents your vertical step from a point, and over here we are figuring out O, which is origin. Okay, number plane is also known as your Cartesian plane or 2D plane basically. Now over here, let's suppose this is my basically if we divide a number plane, generally we have a horizontal axis which is x-axis and vertical axis which is y-axis. The point where these two axes meet or intersect is known as origin, and the coordinate of origin is 0, 0, the ordered pair. So at this point the value of x is also 0 and the value of y is also 0. Now let's suppose if I am marking a point in any of this part in this particular plane, that is P, which is a comma B. So what does A represent over here is A is your horizontal step and B represents your vertical step. And A is also known as x coordinate of the point P, and B is also known as the y coordinate of the point P. Okay, now let's understand how the quadrants are divided and what is the property in each quadrant for the ordered pair. So generally we move in anti-clockwise direction from the positive x-axis. So we name this as our first quadrant, this is our second quadrant, this is our third quadrant, and this is our fourth quadrant. Okay, so there are 4 quadrants in this 2D plane, and generally we always count from the positive x-axis anti-clockwise direction. Now in first quadrant, if you mark any point in the first quadrant, your ordered pair x coordinate and y coordinate, both of them are positive. Now in second quadrant, if you can see, this is on the left side of the origin, and on left side your horizontal step is negative. So in this quadrant your ordered pair represent negative x comma y. Since we are above the horizontal line, that is above origin, which is positive y representing, and in third quadrant similarly both of them are negative, and in fourth quadrant x is positive and y is negative. Clear? So this is how the quadrant represents, and on the basis of this we can plot the points in the given quadrants. Now how do we plot the points? So basically let's suppose if I have to plot a point A which is 3, 4. So both of this are positive, so I know that this point will lie in which quadrant? First quadrant. First quadrant. So first quadrant is this. So let's suppose if I divide this in equal steps. So horizontal step is 3 and your vertical step is 4. So this point represents basically A, which is 3. Clear? Now similarly you can mark, let's suppose if I have to represent negative 2 comma negative 1. Let's suppose a point B, negative 2 comma negative. Now both the coordinates, your horizontal as well as your vertical steps are negative. So it lies in which quadrant? Third quadrant. So this is negative 1, this is negative 2 and this is negative. So on horizontal axis it's negative 2, on vertical it's negative 1. So this is the point B, which is negative 2 comma negative. Yeah. So in this way we can plot any points if you know which quadrant belongs to which side of ordered triangle. Okay. Now as we know, your x point or x coordinate represents your horizontal step and your y coordinate represents your vertical step. Okay. Now distance between any 2 points, and we know there is a formula for distance between any 2 points, but instead of remembering the formula, I would suggest this part, that if you know the logic, what we are exactly calculating, it becomes very easy instead of memorizing the formula. Let's suppose there are 2 points. This point is A, which is, let's suppose 2 comma 1, and there is a point B, which is, let's suppose 6 comma 3. Okay. Now if I join this 2 point, I need to calculate this distance AB. What is the distance of AB? Now over here, if I see what is the movement in horizontal axis, so movement is of 4 steps. On vertical axis, what is the movement? Movement is of 2 steps. And I know that the horizontal step and the vertical steps are perpendicular to each other. So now this forms a right angle triangle. And being this is a right angle triangle, so AB becomes the hypotenuse of this triangle. And using Pythagoras theorem, I can easily calculate the length of side AB. So what I can write down is AB square is equals to 4 square plus 2 square, your x step and your y step. And since we are relating with the Pythagoras theorem, we know the longest side square is equals to sum of square of other 2 sides of the triangle. Now this gives us is 60 plus 4, which is 20. Now AB square is equals to 20, but we are calculating the length of AB, which gives us square of 20. Now this is your search form. You can easily simplify this. I can write down this is square root 20 as 4 into 5. Now I know the square root of 4 is 2 and square root of 5 is 2. So this is the length or distance of A, that is 2 root 5. Okay. So always remember your horizontal step, how many steps you move in horizontal axis, and your vertical step, how many steps you move in vertically. So if you square up, add them up, you can easily find out distance between any 2 points. Now if this idea is clear to you, you don't need to remember the formula, you can easily work it out. So this is the formula. Now the distance formula using Pythagoras theorem, as we have already discussed, your x step, y step, distance. Now this gives you the formula. So basically this is x2 minus x1 plus y2 minus y1. So basically x2 minus x1 represents your x step, how many movements in x step, and y2 minus y1 represents your y step. So instead of remembering the formula, and sometimes students get confused in this, whether it's minus or plus, or what is there in between, is it plus or minus over here? So remember this, using Pythagoras theorem we can easily calculate this part. Okay, I hope this part is clear. Now midpoint. What is midpoint? Basically midpoint is the middle value. Okay, so middle value, or you can say average. So again we'll first understand this with the logic part, then we'll move on with the formula. Okay, so midpoint means whatever distance is there between your horizontal step, half of that, because it would be midpoint, and what is distance between your vertical step, that is half of that will give you the y coordinate of that midpoint, or we can say the average of your x step and y step. Yes or no? Now, what is the distance I have traveled in x step is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 units. Now, what is the distance I have traveled in y step is vertical step 1, 2, 3, 4. Now, average of horizontal step, that is 6 by 2 if I am dividing 3, and average of your vertical step, that is 4 by 2, which is 2. So, okay, so once we figure out this part, how many steps we have moved in x and how many steps we have moved in y, so it becomes very easy to find out the midpoint. So from your point A, you have moved 3 in horizontal, 2 in vertical. So this gives you the coordinate. What is this coordinate? This would be 5, and 2 steps from 1, 5, 3. Okay, clear? So your midpoint coordinate is 5, 3. So from point A, which is 2, 1, you move, that is 3 units in x and 2 units up. Again from 3 units over here, you go in this direction and 2 units up, you will land up at point B, which is 8, 5. Clear? Now let's look at the general formula. So if you have any coordinates in the form of x1, y1 and x2, y2, these are the ordered pair. So if you average them out, that gives you the midpoint. Now same logic you can apply over here. So if you look at this part, 2 plus 8, these are the 2 points given to us, 2 plus 8, average of this 2 plus 8 is 10, divided by 2, which is 5. Now we look at the y coordinate, 1 plus 5, 6, divided by 2, 3. So either you can do it by logic or formula is always there. Clear? Now let's move on to the part gradient of a line. This is very important to understand. How do we calculate the gradient of a line? Now gradient of a line is the line is a measure of its stiffness or slope. How stiff is the line? This is vertical. Now if I move on this way, so it shows me stiffness, or if I can move in this way. So whenever we are calculating the stiffness of this line, so this helps us to identify the gradient. Okay. Now there are two possible scenarios of a line. Case 1, this is your horizontal, and this is over here, this is horizontal, which is positive because we are moving on right, and we are moving up, that is positive vertical step. Now over here, since horizontal step we are moving right, which is positive, but since we are going down over here, which is negative vertical step. So by looking at this, I can say the gradient of this will be positive and gradient of this will be negative. Yes, because I am going down. Okay. Now if we choose any 2 points, any different points on a line, the horizontal step and the vertical step tells us the gradient of slope of that line. Okay. So the gradient, basically we use a formula, that is vertical step divided by horizontal step, or we use this term rise over line. Okay. Now we can see in case 1 both the steps are positive as we discussed, so the gradient is also positive over. Okay. Now in case 2 we can see both of them are in opposite side, since we are moving towards the right in horizontal step and down in vertical step, so the gradient is negative. Now by looking at this scenario, you can always tell. Now let's suppose if I take this 2 point horizontal, vertical moving up, horizontal, vertical moving up, horizontal, vertical moving up, so the slope of these lines are positive, forward slope. Now over here if you see, they are going down and horizontal step, going down, horizontal, going down, and over here also going down and horizontal. So this is backward sloping and slope would be negative in this case. Clear? Now let's do some questions. So if you take any 2 points, let's suppose if I take this point and this point. So what is the horizontal step I am traveling is 2, vertical step I am traveling is 3. So what is the rise? 3 units, and what is the run? 2 units. The slope of this line is 3 by 2. Okay. Now you can see both of them are of same sign. Okay. Now if I mark for B part, if I mark this 2 point, I am getting 2 points down and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 points on horizontals. So this is negative 2 because I am getting down, and plus 5. So slope of this line is negative 2 by 5. Now over here, if I see I am moving 3 units, but there is no vertical movement, and we write down always the vertical movement divided by the horizontal movement. Slope of this line is 0. So I can say that the slope of all the horizontal lines is 0. Now over here there is only a vertical movement, okay, but there is no horizontal movement. So vertical movement is 2, horizontal movement is 0. So 2 over 0 is not defined. So slope of vertical lines, all the vertical lines, is undefined. Clear? Okay. So this is what we are discussing over here. The gradient of any horizontal line is 0 and gradient of any vertical line is undefined. Okay. Now the formula y2 minus y1, that is your vertical step, and x2 minus x1 is your horizontal step. Okay, rise over run. So we remember this also. Now gradient of parallel lines. At times students get confused. What's the relation between the gradient of parallel lines? So gradient of parallel lines, again, to find out the slope of any given line, what we do is we take any 2 points on that line and we find out its rise over run. Now let's suppose if I mark this point and this point. So what is the horizontal movement? 3 step. What is vertical movement? 3 step. So rise over run for this line. Let's suppose this is line 1. So if I write down line 1, what is the rise? Is 3 units, and what is the run? Is also 3 units. So 3 divided by 3, slope is 1, gradient is 1. Now this line, line 2 is parallel to this. You can easily look and say these 2 lines are parallel. They are not going to intersect at any given point if you extend it in both the directions. Now if I take the gradient of this, again I am taking 2 points. So this is 2 units, this is 2 units. For line 2, what is the rise? 2 units. What is the run? 2 units. So 2 divided by 2 is 1. So what we can conclude over here is, if 2 lines are parallel, then they have equal gradient, or you can say the gradient of parallel line is always equal. Now if 2 lines have equal gradients, other way around, if 2 lines have equal gradients, which means they are parallel. Clear? This part? Okay. Now let's look at this. What is gradient of perpendicular lines? So if you are looking at gradients of perpendicular lines, I can clearly see that the line 1 is perpendicular to line 2. Now if we figure out the slope of line 1, which is rise over run, which is 2 divided by 2 is 1. Clear? And for the line 2, I can see what is the rise. Rise is negative 3 and run is 3, which is negative. Now what can you see? How this 2 lines slope is related? This 2 lines slope is related. We can see that the gradient is negative reciprocal, the relation. Or you can say that the product of slope is always negative 1. The product of 2 perpendicular line slope is always negative 1. So if 2 lines are perpendicular, then their gradient are negative reciprocal. And if gradient are negative reciprocal, other way around, you can say that the given 2 lines are perpendicular. For example, if I have these 2 lines and if I say these 2 lines are perpendicular, if the slope of this line is half, what would the slope of this line? Can you comment in the comment box? So negative reciprocal. So if I do the reciprocal, half reciprocal would be 2 and negative. So the slope of this line would be negative. Clear? Now the idea of collinear points. What is collinear points? If all the 3 points or more than 3 points lie in the same straight line, then we say that the points are collinear. And if they are on the same straight line, so the slope between the set of the point is always same, slope or the gradient. So if I take this gradient A to B, or if I take the gradient A to C, or if I take the gradient B to C, all this gradient has to be same if the points are collinear. Clear? So this is what we are supposed to do in this part of the video. In next part of the video, we'll focus on straight lines and equations of straight lines. Thank you for watching this video. I hope now you have cleared the concepts related to coordinate geometry. Thank you for watching this video. Have a nice day.